Hello, and welcome to episode 56 in our Let's Play series for Space Engineer Survival. So I got through the magnesium deposit from the last episode. It only took that second stretch to get it done. Came back with a bunch of magnesium and a bunch of stone, and realized that I think I really want to do a refinery priority script in this episode first, before we do anything else. Oh my god, this game is lagging. Just because unless I turn the conveyors on in the refinery, I have to load everything manually. And if I turn the conveyors on, then it's going to go in whatever order it feels like instead of the order that I tell it to. So I want to automate that with a script. And we are going to do that from a construction standpoint. With some LCD screens and button panels, I think. With the focus for now being on the LCD screens. They don't need to be wide. And I need interior plates to place them. I should have just done the bits for the panel. And I guess I'll put them here, because this is about the middle of this area. And we'll put a button panel beneath it. But the button panel can wait. The focus for now is going to be on having a hard-coded order. I don't remember which refinery is which here. One way to find out is you can show on HUD as long as you have an antenna configured. That will work. Okay, so this is 2. So I'm setting this up so that the LCD section tells you what you're displaying, and then refinery display is going to tell you which refinery you're displaying the priorities and stuff for. Alright, so those are set. Now I'll sit back down. Get these labeled appropriately for the grid. And then access our controller and make some messes in the code. Before I do that, actually, I'm going to set up the priority on at least one of these. That'll do to start. We'll figure out the rest as we go. Okay, so the idea is that the custom data for the refinery will list the priority order, and we'll read that and save out to it, and use that to sort the inventory that's going into there. All right, so first thing we're going to need to do is create a list. No, not a list, a dictionary. And the dictionary is going to be based on well, first we're going to have to divide it by actual refineries. So it's going to be my refinery. Let's go ahead and do the whole block. And that's going to map to another dictionary of string and int. So the string is going to be the ore type, and the int is going to be the priority for it. And that is going to be our refinery priorities. Forgot the new keyword. Okay, so that's going to store all refinery priorities. Then we're going to have a dictionary, my refinery, my text surface. And this is going to be refinery displays. Is that okay? Yep. Alright, now we need to do some stuff in main because we want this to update when we add stuff. What the hell? Lag? Oh, I ended up hitting Shift Tab, so it's trying to load the Steam overlay now. There it is. Um, mm, 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 mm. So the first thing we need to do is we need to find all of our connected refineries. List refinery. Do I need to do that? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that because I don't have to loop through them multiple times. This is why I was creating the blocks, because there's a built-in API for reading configurations in that particular format, and we are going to use it. It's my first time using it, so this is going to be interesting. Don't return a value, that's fine, I know they don't. Okay. So, well, first we'll say if not is connected, block return false. We're only going to be prioritizing our connected refineries. We're not going to deal with other ones. Shooting up some meteors outside. Okay, so refinery config. What is it? My INI parse result. Can't convert string to my refinery. What? Oh. Oh, I don't need to cast that, because everything has custom data. I forgot parentheses is what the problem was there, but I don't actually need to do that. I still screwed it up. Must be passed in with the out keyword. Okay. Are you happy? Oh. If that. Yeah, I forgot that was in an if block. We're going to be doing multiple things here, so I'm not going to do my usual one-liner bit. Not all code paths return a value. I think that's actually a legit error, so I can't just whatever that. I have to. True. There we go. Alright, so let's see what echoes out here. This should be both of our configuration data. No. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we found it. Took a minute, but it found it. So that's the one that's configured. I'm going to go ahead and configure the other one just so that we'll display both of those. Now that those are both configured, this should show both. Yeah. All right. So that's working as expected so far. So now, if we do has section priority, echo binary config get section, is that a thing? I don't remember the API for this. I've never used it before. I just know it's there. So we're working this out as we go. I don't know if I can get the whole section at once. No argument that phone corresponds to the required phone parameter. Oh. String. Oh. Huh? Oh, it does not contain a definition for get section, so get section is not real. And this is expecting 2 strings. What will the other one be? Alright, I'm gonna check. There's a whole article on the API about handling configuration. So you don't just have to go based off of the API docs, you can actually read about how this is supposed to be done. So if you get, you can actually get the one value from the section, but we want the whole section if we can. Does not look like that's a thing. Find blocks with sections. Oh, okay, you put in the original INI thing. It's a static method. So that didn't work because technically this is a static method, so we have to pass in the actually the custom data. All right. Well, in that case, well, let me check and see if there's a way to get the whole section. Saving, no. Okay, I want to actually look at the API then. As soon as I find the thing, here it is, my INI. Oh, okay, so instead of has section, we can use contain section, and then it's not the static thing. And we can do get keys. Instead of get section, but those have to go into a list. Okay. So what we will do then is, first of all, this is going to be contains section. And we'll go ahead and create a proper block out of this. And we will do my ini keys, priority keys is a new my ini keys. Oh, no, this is a list, and it's my ini key. And then we do refinery config dot get keys in the priority section and stick it into priority keys. And then we will do for each my ini key priority key in priority keys echo. What's the API for that? My ini key. It's the section. It's the name. Is it empty? Okay, so we can just do a toString. Echo priority key. Okay, we have to explicitly say toString. Fair enough. Okay, so that's the section and then the key. Priority stone, priority uranium, priority magnesium, priority section, stone, uranium, magnesium, priority section, magnesium. Okay? So now we've got that. And the fact that it includes the section is a little bit annoying. So we're actually going to have to split that. Key to string split on the slash, and then grab the second piece of it. Now before we do most of this, since we're getting refineries, what we have to do here is we have to get refinery priorities. I think that's what I call the dictionary up here. The capital R, so close. Refinery priorities. My dictionary string int. So this is actually going to create the refinery priority dictionary for this refinery. So then we get the ore that's configured. The name of it anyway. And you know what? I'm just going to cast this once so I don't have to keep doing it. So you've got the thing. So now refinery priorities, refinery ore key equals refinery config dot get priority, comma, ore key. Do I have to parse that? I think I do. Because it's a string coming in, so it has to be parsed, I'm pretty sure. Unless there's just a method in here automatically that'll do it. Get string gets the value. Oh, it comes back as a my ini value. And there is a casting thing. So get this value. What's the parameter? Oh, it's a default value. Okay. Dot to int 32 with the default value of int dot max value. So if it can't load it for some reason, it's going to give you the max value. How's that? Forgot to close something. Oh, forgot to close my for loop. And what I want to do here, just to test, I want to echo an interpolated string of refinery.custom name or key equals refinery priorities refinery or key. Close things. Refinery 1, stone 1, refinery 1, uranium 2, refinery 1, magnesium 3. Perfect. Refinery 2, magnesium 1. Perfect. Alright, so that's working so far. Now remember, right now all we're doing is actually reading the configuration information. Actually doing the sortings can be a whole other animal. We also need to find the screens. I'm going to do that up here. Actually, you know what? I have this going to one my text surface. I actually want this to be a list of text surfaces because we may have multiple surfaces that we want to display the refinery configuration on. And this will also actually make it less annoying to do this part because we can do, what should I call the damn thing? Refinery displays. Refinery displays. Refinery equals new list. My text surface. There's some kind of thing with using text surface instead of LCD panel or text panel. But I don't remember now what it was. I think I dealt with it here. No, here. Do I really need to do that? I hope I don't, because that's kind of annoying. We'll see. I'm going to see if I can cast it, because I think I remember what the problem was, is that you can't access grid terminal block stuff off of the text panel. I don't know that I need to. Where did I do it here? Is connected must have been. Oh, custom data too. Okay. So let me see if I can just cast it and do it that way. Grid terminal block. No. Grid terminal system. I remember things. Get blocks of type. Refinery displays. Refinery block. My text panel equals my text panel block. I know it's going to complain about the lambda not doing a return, but yeah, it doesn't look like it. Cannot implicitly convert type refinery dictionary thing to dictionary other thing. Oh, it's because I changed the thing to a list, but it didn't change this. That's what it was complaining about. There anyway. Cannot use local variable refinery before it's declared. Alright, that makes sense. Cannot have the same name as a method type parameter. Alright, that makes sense too. So this needs to move up. Come on. To here. So now we've declared it before we used it, and now this has to be something else because we're calling it the same thing. So we'll call it surface. Alright, cool. That seems to be fine with the cast. Good. Alright, so now, if panel dot custom data dot contains, I could do the whole myINI thing again, but I don't really need to.
Meteor storm inbound.
I don't remember exactly what I told that thing to say. If it doesn't contain that. No, if it does contain that, return true, else return false. This one's pretty straightforward. Although it's going to catch both of them right now because I don't have them set up properly. SIC. It's up here because I haven't reloaded yet. Refinery display. That's what it is. No. SIC Controller. Refinery display equals refinery dot custom name. Return true. And then here I'm just going to do display refinery displays refinery refinery dot custom name, new line, and I'm going to move this down actually because I want to put that in here after it parses the thing. Refinery config dot to string. False, so it clears it. Although there's one more thing that needs to be done here. So this can't be as simple as all that. No, it can be. I just need to flip this. If it doesn't contain that, return false. Then we're going to do surface dot content type equals content type dot text and image. No, I have to return true after that. There we go. So now when this runs, it should output the config to those screens, and it is not doing that. Alright. Why not? custom name. LCD, new line, refinery display equals refineries. No, I think there was quotes in here. That's why it's not working. Just to make sure of that, we will echo panel.custom name once we get down to this point. So it should show us both of the panels. Yep. And yep. Yep. And yep. Alright, making progress. So take this echo out because we don't need it anymore. And we can take didn't I display it? Yeah, I displayed it here. So that's displaying the whole thing. So what I actually want to do is just do the custom name here. Because we're not going to use the config, we're going to do the actual work. I actually want to change that font color too. I think that's a thing. Does not exist in the current context. What is it called? I've got it on the colonizer, I think. Configure panels. Oh, it's just color. Dot dark slate gray. Yep. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, I took that part out. Part where it actually displays the thing. That's why that's not working. Okay, so now instead of echoing down here, we instead want it to display to refinery displays for this refinery. Priorities. No, that doesn't need to be in that loop. That needs to be up here. It needs to just do OR key. Refinery priorities. Refinery OR key. So now we can take that out. Priorities, stone, uranium, magnesium, magnesium. So what's this still displaying now? It's displaying the whole thing. There's still an echo in here I didn't take out. it's doing the whole configuration still down here at the bottom. Get rid of that. All right. Section priority. Keys. I'm going to sort these order by I. That's going to be refinery config dot get. Because I need this part to actually get the value. Unless I can get the value straight out of the priority keys. Let me check on that. Back to the API. Oh, I can get my ANI key. All right, cool. So I can just do get I. And then I don't need the section and the key name. I can just pass in the key and it'll get the value. Do I want to convert that? Yes, I do, because 10 will sort weird. I don't know if I have that many ore types, but it'll sort weird. 2 int 32 int dot max value is the default. Okay, so now this is going to sort this. So when I code it correctly, for each order by 2 int 3. All right. So right now, it's displaying them stone, uranium, magnesium, and then just magnesium. But if I come in here to the refinery, and I'm going to do this to refinery 2, and I change this to 2 and set stone equal to 1, even though this comes afterwards, it should put stone on the top. Yes, it does. Perfect. All right, so it's listing them in priority order rather than in the order of appearance. So now because it's doing that and it's doing that correctly, I don't actually want it to show the priority there. I want it to just list them. And what we're going to put here is we're actually going to put the amount of everything. Now, getting that is going to be an interesting challenge. No, it's not going to be that hard. But we are going to use a function to do that. We're going to say count ore of ore key. And then down here, we need string count or string ore key. some. Perfect. So far, so good. So now the difference between this one and most of our inventory counting methods up to this point is we don't care if it's connected. We're going to get everything that's connected to the grid through connectors or whatever. It doesn't have to be on the same grid because we want to find all the ore in the mega miner, anything that's in the colonizer, anything that's in anywhere. So this we're going to do a list of my terminal blocks is a new list of my terminal block grid terminal system dot get blocks of type blocks block if block dot has inventory. Though it does have to have an inventory. So if it doesn't have an inventory, we return false. Now if we're down here, it means it does. So we're going to do for int I equals 0, I is less than block dot inventory count, because we want to pull everything out of refineries, everything, assemblers, all that stuff. I mean, refineries really is what we're worried about. The basic refinery on the mega miner could have some stuff stored in it. We want to make sure we pull it out of there. And that's only going to be in the 0 index refinery anyway. So, okay, never mind. We're not going to do that because there's no secondary inventory that takes ore. So we can just do I my inventory inventory equals block dot get inventory 0. Now, is there a way to find a specific thing? I'm pretty sure there is. So let's see if we can do that rather than getting a list of everything and filtering it for the one that we actually want. Let's see if we can find it directly. My inventory. It's at least a certain amount. Tries to find an item. What does that return? It returns my inventory item. Perfect. Okay. So it's called find item, and it takes in an item type. And an item type we can create by passing in 2 strings. Object builder type and a hash. Or no, a type ID and a subtype ID. So I think that will be OR and then OR key will be what we pass in. So we want a my item type or to find equals new my item type or key. Then we will do my inventory item. Actually, before we do all this, we need to have a my fixed point amount, because that's what we're doing here in the first place. I just set that to 0. Or is it going to say I'm trying to cast an integer? Yeah, I didn't close things. That's a big mess. My inventory item equals inventory dot find item or to find if item amount plus equals item dot amount. Ooh, we have to compile it. Cannot convert type my inventory item to my inventory item. Huh? If item does not equal null. Cannot explicitly convert type my inventory item question mark to my inventory item. Huh? Alright. So what if I just cast it? Will that work? Because it's nullable, so like it could come back as a null. Alright, yeah, that's fine. So now it should be working. Nope, exception. Key not found. Does it have to do the my world builder crap? It might have to do the my world builder crap. Instead of just saying or. But I don't remember what all that is. So, alright. We're just going to comment out this for a moment. So it doesn't run that and doesn't throw the exception. And then when we're looking through the inventories, for each item, echo item dot type dot to string. Yeah. My object builder. So if instead of looking for or, if I do my object builder underscore or, does that work? No, I have to uncomment the thing. Still an exception. Invalid operation. A nullable object must have a value. What does that even mean? Nullable object must have a value. The whole point is that it's nullable. Count or. Alright. This is if it's not null. It's like the idea. My inventory item. What if I do this? Nope. Does not contain a definition amount and no extension method amount. Alright. How about this? If item does not equal null, then we'll cast it to my inventory item. Does not contain a definition of amount. That's why I casted it. didn't order of operations it correctly. There we go. Now, is that going to throw an exception? No, no exception. Let's see if it actually worked. Uranium 0, stone a bunch, magnesium a bunch. Magnesium a bunch. Alright, perfect. We got it. Now we just need to clean it up. Part 1 of cleaning it up is getting rid of all that from here. And part 2 of cleaning it up is, instead of just returning amount to string, we're going to return amount to string pretty. And we're going to do some interpolation stuff. Kilograms. No overload for toString takes one method. Yes, it does, though. Apparently it doesn't for the myFixedPoint thing. But a float does. And that casts to a float. Do what I tell you to. One way or the other. Alright, so 126,700 and change stone. Yep, that's what we got. So it is counting it accurately. And 480, give or take. 500. Why? Where's all that coming from? Oh, we've got a bunch in the connector. Small cargo container. Okay, so we have a bunch more than I thought we did. But I didn't count. That's fine. That's working correctly. If I do all of this into here. Now it's 546. 546, perfect. Okay, so now it's got it in the correct order based on priority. It's displaying the current amount that we have everywhere attached to the thing. The next step is going to be actually moving it into the correct refinery, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is going to be a really long episode, so I apologize if that's a problem for you, but, you know, well, get over it. Just pause it, watch it in pieces. Nobody cares. I certainly don't. Should we just do it in here because we already have it? No, I'm not going to do it in here because I've got priority order to consider. It just gets messy if I try to do that. Okay, so prioritize refineries, blah, 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 blah. Or do I? Let me think here for a second. So, if I'm going through these in priority order already, because they get sorted here by priority. So it's counting them in order. I could just pass in the refinery to count ore as well. Just call it count and sort ore. Because it's still going to be the same count, at least for this tick. It doesn't matter where it is, because it's adding it all together anyway. So I'm just going to rename this to sort ore. And if it tries to pass in more than the refinery can hold, then it'll just not do it. It'll try to do it with the next one if it can. The one downside being that it'll only load things that are actually in the list. If there's anything that's not in the list, then it won't try to sort it. but that's okay for now, I think. It doesn't care where it's coming from, and neither do I really. Although I would like to pull stuff from off-grid first. Oh, this is going to be weird. Alright, guys, forgive me for the spaghetti code and the convolutedness of this, but I think it's kind of cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the refinery inventory. My inventory, refinery inventory equals refinery dot get inventory 0, the input inventory. Then we're going to do refinery inventory dot, no, not yet, not yet. If not is connected, refinery inventory dot transfer items to, no, from. I think it needs to be from, because we're doing from whatever we pass in to the thing. Transfer items from inventory item. Let me check sort inventory and see if I'm right on that. Transfer item to destination. Yeah, so transfer item from puts it back in here. And yeah, okay, perfect. All right, so the way this is working is if it's not connected, we're going to transfer stuff. We're going to transfer stuff, and then we're going to return false. So you remember how we're usually creating these lists and then doing all the work inside the filter function, so we don't actually have to do anything with the list that we create. But what we're going to do is we're going to say if it's not connected to the current grid, if it's not on the same construct, then we're going to transfer those now and return false, so it's not in the list. Then we're going to return true at the end here, so we're only returning true if it's an internal to the industrial complex inventory. And then what we're going to do outside of that is we're going to do a for each my terminal block in blocks. We're going to use the list, which now only contains stuff that has the item. Wait a minute. Okay, if item does not equal null, add the amount, else return false. So if there is actually the item in the, if it finds the item in the inventory, then it'll not be null, it'll add the amount, and it'll continue. If it's not there, this will be null and it'll return false. So this is now just a list of blocks that have inventories that contain the ore we're looking for. So for each block in blocks, my inventory found inventory on construct is block dot get inventory 0. I'm going to move this up because I want to use it elsewhere. So we'll get it at the beginning. Refinery inventory dot transfer items from found inventory on construct. Inventory dot find item. I'm going to move this out too, because this is going to be the same. There's no reason to do it twice, especially because we need to use it twice. Or to find. Oh, that's some shenaniganry right there. Alright, so now we're getting the refinery inventory at the beginning. We're getting the or to find item type at the beginning. We're going through this. We're saying if it doesn't have an inventory, then bail. Then we get the inventory. We find the ore we're looking for. If we found it, this is not null. We add the amount to this variable up here that we started with. Otherwise, we bail. If it's not connected, if is connected refinery. No, not the refinery. It's the block. Yeah, we don't care if the refinery is connected. We know the refinery is connected, otherwise it wouldn't have gotten into this list. So if the block is not connected, if it's not on the same construct, then we transfer the items in right away and then bail. If it is connected, we'll get this far and we'll return true. So it'll end up in this list of blocks. Then we go through the list of blocks, get the inventory, transfer items from the found inventory into the refinery, and we find the item or to find, and then we return the amount. Okay, I think that's kind of cool. Saves us some loops and gets everything prioritized correctly, because it's going to go through this in priority order. So it's going to just keep piling things into the refinery until the refinery runs out of space. You know, if it runs out of space just getting top priority items from stuff that's not on grid, then that's it, fine, it's done. On the other hand, if there's enough room for stuff that's already on grid, then it'll pull that in, and then it'll move on to the next ore in priority. Now I just need to unscrew everything that I did here. 93, there's a parenthesis missing. Yeah, okay. There. Does not contain a definition for transfer items from. I'm pretty sure it does. Is it transfer item? Yeah, it's transfer item. Transfer item from. Transfer item from. Because it's transfer item to, so that's fine. Cannot convert from my inventory item question mark to my inventory thing. Okay, and inventory doesn't exist in the current context, so that's 101. That's because that's what that's called there. Found inventory on construct. Can't convert the argument. So if we cast this, it will solve the nullable bit. Now we need to line wrap it. That should get rid of one of those errors. Yep, and now 94. Inventory item. Okay, yeah, that's because it's still question marked here. So we need to cast it again. And there goes the refinery starting up. So that's all the stone. There's no stone left, I guess. But there is. And it should be pulling that in here. Or maybe not, because it's not listed. But it should be pulling in the magnesium then. Right, so for some reason it wasn't, and there it did that. That's not right. That's putting them in the wrong order. It shouldn't have been pulling stone at all into one of these. Oh no, because I added stone to both of them at the top. Alright, so it should have been, but it was moving it back out again. And that is because I didn't tell it not to pull it out of refineries. If is connected block and block dot block definition to string not all that contains refinery. If block dot block definition to string contains refinery, return false, because we don't want it to do refineries regardless, else return true. Expected close bracket somewhere here. Alright, so we've got some very little bit of stone. And I'm just going to stick this somewhere, it doesn't matter. It's still going in the wrong order. And there's a way to deal with that, but I don't remember offhand what it is. And it just pulled it all in there because it can all fit. Alright, we'll need some more stone to test it properly. But anyway, it sort of worked. But because it then tried to pull all of this back out, it ended up with that minuscule amount in there, and it wasn't actually using this refinery to do any work. And because it's not paying attention to the order of things, it's putting it in the wrong place. There's a overload of that transfer items method that will solve that. Let me see if I can figure that out real quick here. Source item index. No. Target item index. Everything else is nullable. So I need the item index. Is that part of the inventory item? I bet it isn't. Nope, sure isn't. Okay, so how do I find the item index? Because the overload doesn't take my inventory item, it takes an index of in the source inventory. So it won't just do it. I have to find the index first. So I'm going to pause because I'm going to try to figure this out. I might just have to get all the items, and that'd be annoying. Do item count and do a loop. I don't really want to do that. No, I'm not. I'm doing find. All right, yeah, I'm gonna have to figure it out. But anyway, we've got it, mostly working for now, pretty well. Our stone is almost gone. Our magnesium's getting chewed through, and the stone is only almost gone because of the way that it's doing this, where it sticks it in the wrong spot. Why is it doing that? Hold on a second. Just real quick. I'm almost done, I promise. I turn this off, and I pull this out, and I pull this out. Somewhere where it'll fit. So I turn this back on. It did take the stone first. No, I don't know if it did or not. Yeah, it took the stone first that time. Alright, I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. It might be just because it went through it fast enough that it didn't matter. But stone is now gone, and it's just doing magnesium exclusively now. Like I said, it's a start. We'll see how it plays out in the longer run when we start doing more stuff and have more kinds of ores on board, and it starts competing for time. Because really, I mean, at the end of the day, like, stone goes through real quick, so we didn't really have two kinds of ore on here. But thanks for watching. Subscribe to see what happens next. Likes, comments, and verbal abuse are welcome. See you next time. And the code will be posted to the GitHub as usual.